Hello there, Gamerinos and Gamerinas, and happy Valentine's Day to all you lovebirds out there. And what better way is there to celebrate the execution of a priest who went against the Emperor's orders and wed Roman soldiers than to play a game about chocolate, making chocolate, and giving chocolate to others for hard cash. This is Chocolate Factory Simulator, and you will feel like a real Willy Wonka with this game, because you're not running a boring old realistic factory. No, this game takes place in a steampunk world, where all the Victorian-style brick buildings rise high up into the clouds and transportation is completely done by blimps. Just look at this marvelous view from my balcony. Alright, let me show you around my factory. So here's my storage and delivery area, that's my office, these are my steampunk pipes, and my huge ass furnace. Here's my packing area, my chocolate press, some machines I can't use yet, and here's my medium-sized kitchen area, with a stove for cooking up some chocolate. Yeah, we'll be staring at this here pot a lot while we're heating up the ingredients, stirring the sweet mass every now and then, fidget around with the temperature gauge, to let the chocolate cool off and temper it. Yeah, everything else is pretty quick, but this here is most of what we're doing in this game. Which, I guess, is alright. This is a chocolate making simulator and hey, it's a great way to wind down, take things slow, without completely turning off your brain. The chocolate you create is either made to order, for the many colorful and eccentric characters that you only get to see in the order menu and the result screen, or for your own vending machine, where it may or may not get sold after a while. I guess the vending machine is a good way to have some cash flowing in while you concentrate on more complicated recipes for higher ranked orders, but to be completely honest, I don't see much reason for the vending machine. Fulfilling an order pays out a good amount of money and increases your reputation, and with that, your chocolatier rank, which allows you to buy higher tier upgrades for your factory, as well as more cosmetics to decorate your factory, design your own packaging, or customize the look of the actual chocolate. Well, after a while you get the tools to create a bunch of chocolate relatively fast, so I guess it's quite an efficient way to make money. So, what does the day in the life of an eccentric steampunk chocolatier look like? Come on, don't be shy. Step into my shop and I will show you. So here's my office, it's on a balcony overlooking my workshop. From here I can redecorate my factory, the most important aspect of chocolate making. Even more so since everything regarding sales and purchases is done via phone order and picked up and delivered completely contactless by blimp. And we are so high up here that there's no possible way someone could even accidentally stumble into my shop. Well, I guess my robot butler appreciates it. So when I'm done chilling on my sofa, reading the morning paper, and had some coffee, I inspect the warehouse, check on ingredients and restock if needed. There's also my dispensers for various stuff, nuts and fruit mostly, that I need to refill every once in a while. Next up is the boiler room, the heart of this whole operation, because nothing here works without steam. If needed, I have to add coal to keep the temperature up and clean the ash pit. Or well, I have the robot butler do the cleaning. And when all my preparations are done, it's time to make some chocolate. You see, my chocolate is so popular, so famous, that there's always someone waiting to place an order. People crave my chocolate so much that they wait patiently beside their phones, they hold the line the whole day if needed, just to place an order. And gracious as I am, I receive exactly one of their orders. And then get to work. The others have to wait just a bit longer. Oh, and they will wait. So after taking an order, I check the recipe, calculate the ingredients and pour it all into the pot. Sometimes I use an additional bowl, if I have to make 2 batches for example, but the important thing is that I just pour all the ingredients into the pot, without actually measuring anything. You see, I've become so good at making chocolate that I can pretty much eyeball the correct amount. I can sense the correct weight just by touch. It's a special skill all chocolatiers need to develop at some point, or the work would get really tedious. Some customers want some nuts, coffee beans or fruit mixed into their chocolate, and they are very particular about the texture and consistency. So that's why I need to use the mortar. Just give the pestle a few spins until the desired granulation is achieved. I eyeball this as well. After mixing all the ingredients, I need to heat it up. Just turn the valve to let the steam flow through. I always open it quite wide to speed up the whole process. There's no risk of anything going wrong at first, but after the temperature reaches about 35 degrees, we need to stir the chocolate mass every now and then so that it doesn't burn. When the mixture's temperature approaches the target temperature, as indicated by the recipe, I generally turn down the heat gradually and keep stirring, just to be on the safe side. I then just let the chocolate mixture boil for a moment and then turn off the heat completely. I could finish up now. The chocolate is technically ready to be pressed and packed, but that's not how I do things. I'm an artisan, a perfectionist, who eyeballs his ingredients. The chocolate needs to be tempered, so it doesn't just melt away at the slightest touch or get discolored spots. So we let it cool down to 29 degrees to let it crystallize and then heat it up again to actually temper it. Then I'm gonna take it over to my chocolate press, fill a mold. If I'm feeling a bit frisky, I might choose a special design, and then I'm gonna close the press and let it do its work for a moment. After that, it's off to the packing station, where I choose an appropriate box for the chocolate that I have all designed myself, of course, with a variety of little pictures and patterns. And then it's time to ship the order and wait for the customer's feedback. And the payment, of course. That's quite a bit of work to fulfill a single order. No wonder my prices are so ludicrously exorbitant. But it's worth getting a taste of my marvelous sweets. People come from far and wide to procure my chocolate. Well, I guess they order from far and wide and just wait for the delivery blimp, but still. But after a hard day's work, I retire to my study and rest for a while, until it's time to take the next order. People are always hungry for more of my chocolate, and I'm happy to oblige. Running a chocolatier business is quite easy to do, since a lot of the work is streamlined. You don't have to worry about running costs like rent or waste disposal and the like. You don't have to compare different vendors and manufacturers or sign contracts with them to have a steady supply of ingredients and materials you need. You just order it and it gets delivered a minute or so later. Inactivity has no effect on your popularity, only explicitly declining orders to receive a different one or messing up an order hurts your reputation. So if you want to take some time off from working and do nothing for a while, well, it's totally alright. And you don't ever have to worry about your equipment wearing down. I mean, every once in a while you have to make your rounds fastening some screws to get everything back in order, but you will never need to buy spare parts or replace a machine. This really isn't a business simulation. It's just a business. A chill business where you have some great all relaxing time making chocolate and slowly getting more famous and richer. And with the increasing fame, you unlock more machines to make your work even easier. Well, sometimes you have to complete a task or two to be allowed to take the sheet off a machine. And I had to learn this the hard way when I reached a new rank, which unlocked more tools and also more customers. So I took an order from a new customer that didn't appear too hard. But, well, at that point it was impossible for me to complete. It was a timed order for vegan chocolate that for some reason can't be cooked in a normal pot. You have to use the melanger for that. Problem was that I hadn't unlocked that one at that point. And I didn't know how. My rank was high enough, but I needed to complete some quest. So there was nothing I could do, and I had to take a hit to my reputation. Great. Well, the solution was buying an upgrade for my robot butler, which then unlocks the melanger. For some reason, I also wasn't able to buy that upgrade. I needed a higher reputation rank, but after an update to my, business, I was able to buy it and finally unlock this so very useful machine. I said you mostly stare at the pot in this game. And that is true to some extent. There is a better pot you can buy, but at that point it's only situationally useful, because as soon as you unlock the melanger, you don't really need that stove anymore. And that's because the melanger allows you to create multiple batches of chocolate at once. No cooking one batch after another anymore. Now you can just take the large orders that pay out more cash and reputation. Tempering the chocolate in the melanger is a bit weird, but guess what's right next to the melanger and just waiting to be unlocked as well? Yeah, at that point, you're on full mass production mode. But getting back to things being a bit weird, there are a few clunky mechanics in this workshop. Like how you manually have to replace the molds in your chocolate press whenever you change the chocolate design. And there's not just a standard design for each mold, you have to create them all from scratch. And while this does allow for a bit of creative expression, it's also a bit unwieldy to use. This goes for all the designing tables. It's also a bit weird how the ingredients in your pot don't gradually change into the finished chocolate mass. You can see all the different ingredients, which is nice, but they are static until you've heated it up enough and then it's suddenly liquid chocolate. Not too much of a problem, but I just think it would have been nice to have it visually better represented, to infer from the look of the mass how far you are into the process, you know, and not just by picturing imaginary gauges before your inner eye. After a while the gameplay loop, the work routine, gets a bit samey. The intrigue is rather fleeting, and the improved machines don't make the game more interesting, but rather streamline the process and make unlocking all the rest easier and more efficient. But it's a good game to wind down, to waste a bit of time without turning off your brain completely. You can just indulge in the fantasy and create your favorite or maybe even your dream chocolate designs. Make it strawberry coffee filled or something, give it a funny shape. A bit more management would have been nice, but that's just not what the game is supposed to be. And that's also alright. So I hope you enjoyed the little tour through my factory. Maybe you even got some appetite for starting your own chocolatier business. I certainly would appreciate a bit of friendly competition. But for now I have to bid you farewell. You beautiful people enjoy a wonderful Valentine's Day. This has been Rady, and I hope to see you again on the next game. Wait, what?